All right, first off, I want to say Shabbat Shalom, Ashar Shabbat, right, to all the lovely brothers and sisters that's out there, right? Lord willing, everybody's having a mighty Shabbat, a beautiful Shabbat, right? We back at it again with another Shabbat class entitled "Cry Out to the Most High," right? So in this time, in these times, and in times in general, just us being in captivity, just us living as, you know what I'm saying, Israelites, right? We continuously go through, hell in this place, man. And it's very important that we understand the importance of continuously crying out to the Most High in order for us to receive mercy from the Most High and ultimately salvation, man. Right? So let's kick it off with the opening precept, Colossians 3 and 17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahushua, giving thanks to God and the Father by him.
Right. So everything we do in word or deed, we do it all in the name of the Lord Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High God. That's why we say, call the Lord Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahushua. Right. Let's get Ephesians 4 and 11.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse number 11. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach.
Right. So everything that we do is ultimately right for the edifying of the body of Yahushua and the perfecting of the saints, which is the Israelites, right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and all our people that are spread out across the four corners of the earth, man. So once again, this class is entitled Cry Out to the Most High. Why is it so important? Right? Why do we need to do so? Right? This is something that the Lord, He desires from us. He commands from us, man. This is a way for Him to have respect unto you, right? So let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 2, and verse 23.
God, this book of Exodus, chapter 2, and verse 23. And it reads, And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up to God by reason of bondage.
Right. So it said their cry came up to God by reason of bondage. Right. It's the same thing today. Are we not in bondage? Do we not call this place that we're in Egypt, man? Right. When we teach the curses, do we not tell people, hey, Egypt, man, slavery, bondage, right? This is the second Egypt, right? So we're in the same spot. So we should be crying out to the Most High the same way the children of Israel did in that day, right? Read on.
Verse number 24. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them.
Right. And God looked upon the children of Israel and had respect upon them after what? He heard their groaning. So we should be groaning, calling out to the Most High, crying out to the Most High. Too many times people talk about being mighty in this truth. Nobody talks about, crying to the Lord, man, calling on the Lord. Everybody's always talking about being mighty, 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 mighty. Well, we have forefathers that weren't always mighty, man. Did Elijah not cry out to the Most High, right, and ask him to take his life, right? So there's a lot. Hey, you got to understand, man. It's a righteous thing to cry out to the Most High. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3 and verse 6.
Exodus chapter 3 and verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows.
So the Lord said, I've heard their cries. What comes after him hearing our cries? Read on.
Verse number 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
Right. So the Lord said, after he heard their crying and their groaning, that he's come to deliver them and bring them into a land, man, flowing with milk and honey. So through their crying and their groaning, the Lord have respect unto them. And now what? He's going to save them. So we have to do that in small matters and in great matters. Hey, the small trials of your life, you should be crying out to the Most High. right? And in the great matters of us being in captivity under the so-called white man and all the other nations, you should be crying out to the Most High for those things as well, man. This should be a continuous thing, man. It should never stop happening, right? A lot of times people talk about prayers. In your prayers, you should be calling out to the Most High. You should be crying out to the Most High, man. You shouldn't just be praying, "Hey, Lord." So no, you should be crying out to the Most High, man. Right? Let's go to Numbers 20 and verse number 16.
Khan, it's the book of Numbers, chapter 20, and verse number 16. It reads, "And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border."
Right. When we cried unto the Lord. This is just a recap of what we just read in Exodus. When we cried, they're making it plain and understanding to you for you to know that this all happened by the crying of Israel. This all happened by Israel crying out to the Most High. It didn't happen just because it happened. It happened after Israel cried out, man. Let's go to Tobit chapter 3 and let's go to verse 6. Tobit 3 and verse 6.
Khan, this is the book of Tobit, chapter 3, and verse number 6. It reads, "Now therefore deal with me as seemeth best unto thee, and command my spirit to be taken from me, that I may
Salakia.
be dissolved."
Start at 1. Let's read 1 through 6. Salakia.
Khan, this is the Tobit, chapter 3, and verse number 1. "Then I, being grieved, did weep, and in my sorrow prayed, saying, O Lord, thou art just, and all thy works and all thy ways are mercy and truth, and thou judgest truly and justly forever. Remember me and look on me. Punish me not for my sins and ignorances, and the sins of my fathers who have sinned before thee. For they obeyed not thy commandments, wherefore thou hast delivered us for a spoil, and unto captivity, and unto death, and for a proverb of reproach to all the nations among whom we are dispersed. And now thy judgments are many and true. Deal with me according to my sins and my fathers', because we have not kept thy commandments, neither have we walked in truth before thee. Now therefore deal with me as seemeth best unto thee, and command my spirit to be taken from me, that I may be dissolved, and become earth. For it is profitable for me to die rather than to live, because I have heard false reproaches and have much sorrow. Command therefore that I may now be delivered out of this distress, and go into the everlasting place. Turn not thy face away from me."
Right. Now, this is Tobit, one of our righteous forefathers. And what is Tobit doing? It said, Tobit, what? It said, then I, being grieved, did weep, and in my sorrow prayed, saying. So now what is he doing? He's praying, he's crying out to the Most High in sorrow, right? He's crying out to the Most High in sorrow. And this is about a personal affliction just as much as it is the captivity that he's in, right? So we can cry out to the Most High in our personal afflictions as well, man. You're going through hell, right? You don't have a job, right? You physically dealing with an ailment. You've been sick for a long time. All these reasons are various reasons that you can cry out to the Most High, man, right? Call on his name, man. Right? Hey, he say, hey, take him out, take his life. He didn't even want to live. That's how stressed Tobit was, man. Right? But then, you got brothers that want to talk about being mighty. Well, Tobit was mighty, but he still cried out to the Most High. Right? Jump to verse 11. We'll start at 10.
Tobit chapter 3 and verse number 10. "When she heard these things, she was very sorrowful, so that she thought to have strangled herself. And she said, I am the only daughter of my father, and if I do this, it shall be a reproach unto him, and I shall bring his old age with sorrow unto the grave."
Now, she said what? She literally was this is Sarah, the woman that becomes Tobias' wife. She was so sorrowful. She was ready to take her life, man. She was so depressed. She was ready to take her life, right? But let's see what happened. Read verse 11.
Verse number 11. "Then she prayed toward the window, and said, Blessed art thou, O Lord my God, and thine holy and glorious name is blessed and honorable forever. Let all thy works praise thee forever.
Read on.
And now, O Lord, I set mine eyes and my face toward thee. and say, take me out of the earth, that I may hear no more the reproach. Thou knowest, Lord, that I am pure from all sin with man, and that I have never polluted my name, nor the name of my father in the land of my captivity. I am the only daughter of my father, neither hath he any child to be his heir, neither any kinsman, nor any son of his alive, to whom I may keep myself for a wife. My 7 husbands are already dead, and why should I live? But if it please not thee that I should die, command some regard to be had of me, and pity taken of me, that I hear no more reproach.
So she's crying out to the Most High. She feels reproached. She's had 7 husbands, all of them died, right? And her damn maidens are making fun of her, right? So this is a personal thing. This isn't about being in captivity per se. This is her dealing with something personal, right? She had an evil spirit on her that was killing all her husbands, and it was grieving her because she was alone, right? And she felt like she was ashamed, right? And so she's crying out to the Most High. How many of us can liken ourselves into that? We dealing with a spirit that we just can't, hey, we can't get off of us. This damn spirit, hey, it just won't go away. I keep falling victim to it, right? Well, you got an account right now of one of our foremothers that did the right thing. She turned to the window and prayed and cried out to the Most High. And let's see what happened. Read on.
Verse number 16. So the prayers of them both were heard before the majesty of the great God. Verse
Read on.
17. And Raphael was sent to heal them both, that is, to scale away the whiteness of Tobit's eyes, and to give Sarah the daughter of Raguel for a wife to Tobias, the son of Tobit, and to bind Asmodeus, the evil spirit, because she belonged to Tobias by right in inheritance. The self same time came Tobit home and entered into his house, and Sarah the daughter of Raguel came down from her upper chamber.
Right. So in their prayers, both of them, right, was heard. They cried out to the Lord, and both of their prayers was heard. And what's coming from them being heard, right? The Lord heard it, and He sent an angel to heal Toby, and an angel to remove the evil spirit off of Sarah, man. So crying out to the Most High is a very vital thing, man. Right? It's extremely vital. Let's get Ezra, Second Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 20.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5, and verse number 20. And it reads, and so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel, the angel, commanded me.
Toby say, I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping. That's crying, man. Right? Bringing himself low, fasted, afflicted himself, mourning and weeping. He said the angel Uriel told him to do this thing. Why? Because he knew that this is something that the Lord was going to have respect unto. So us mourning, weeping, afflicting ourselves, right? These are the things, right, that the Lord has respect unto to further hear our prayers, to send us a healing, right? To send us deliverance, right? Read on.
Verse 21. And after 7 days, so it was that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me again, and my soul recovered the spirit of understanding. And I began to talk with the Most High again, and said, O Lord, that thou bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one vine.
So you understand that he's going to go through everything the Lord chose that was peculiar to him out of everything, right? One vine out of every wood, right? One lily out of every flower, right? One land out of every pit, right? So on and so forth. And then one people out of all the nations, which is Israel. Jump down to 28.
Verse number 28. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? And upon the one and upon the one root hast thou prepared others. And why hast thou scattered the only one people among many? Verse 29. And they which did gainsay thy promises and believed not thy covenants have trodden them down. If thou didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands. Now, when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night afore was sent unto me, and said unto me, Hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, Speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, Thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them?
Right. So the point that I wanted to get right was literally that after he mourned, he wept, and he cried out to the Most High. The angel was sent and returned unto him, right, to give him the answers that he was asking for. Hey, sometimes you got to just cry out to the Most High God simply to get answers, man. Hey, he may not give them to you, right, but he may. Simply to get answers and understanding, you got to cry out to the Most High God. You got to afflict yourself. You got to mourn just to get understanding. Let's go to Tobit. So like Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 24.
God. The book of Second Ezra, chapter 3, and verse 20.
26.
Verse 20.
26.
God. And in all things did even as Adam and all his generations had done, for they also had a wicked heart. Verse 27. And so thou gavest thy city over into the hands of thine enemies. Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? For when I came thither and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in this 30th year, so that my heart failed me. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and hast destroyed thy people, and hast preserved thine enemies, and hast not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be lived. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? Verse 32. Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation hath so believed thy covenants as Jacob? Verse 33. And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and have seen that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and there's also that dwell in the world. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel.
Right. So what is he doing? He's crying. This is Ezra again crying out to the Most High in his prayers for the affliction of his people, for being in captivity, for the heathens reigning over him, man. Right? We deal with that. We deal. Hey, I know I do. I can't stand it, man. I can't stand having to work for the heathen. I can't stand having to damn pay bills to the heathen. I can't stand having to do anything for the heathen, man. I can't stand having the heathen rule over me. Right? And so what should I be doing? And what should we be doing? Crying out to the Most High continually, man. Right? Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 8.
Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
See that? The souls of the just complain continually. So the souls of the just people, they continually complain to the Most High. Right? So this is what you understand. This is what you got to understand. It's a righteous thing to continually be complaining to the Most High, even whether your spirit is in the third heaven, or you are on this earth and you drop into your knees, or you in your car driving, right? Or you hit your closet, or whatever it may be, man. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 1. And let's start at verse. We're going to jump around. Let's start at verse 6.
God, this is the book of First Samuel, chapter 1, and verse number 6. It reads, And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. And as he
So
did.
Hannah, our righteous foremother, right? Her womb was shut up. And you got sisters in the truth that got that issue, man. Their womb was shut up, right? And so, but she was being provoked by her, quote unquote, what they call sister wife, man, right? And what she is tearing her apart because she want to bear children to her husband who she loves, right? So she's weeping, she's crying, right? Read on.
Con. Verse number 7. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Verse 8. Then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by the post of the temple of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. Verse 12. And it shall come to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in Now Hannah, she spake in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken.
Now, Hannah, she's crying out to the Most High. She's praying, right? And it's to the point where Eli thinks she's drunk. You're like, damn, sister going off. She ain't here drunk. But she's not drunk. She's in sorrowfulness. And she's crying to the Most High, right? Vowing and crying to the Most High for what's grieving her spirit, right? What's afflicting her soul, man. The fact that she couldn't have a child. She's crying. Hey, think about, you see people when they crying, they break down crying. You're like, damn. I remember one time I was at the gas station and I pull up, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even in the truth yet. And I see a woman at the pump next to me and she just crying so hard. Like the only thing I could literally do is I wasn't even in the truth. And I promise you, I prayed for that woman right there. Because she was crying so hard, it was no way not to realize how grieved she was. You know what I'm saying? This is what Hannah was. She was grieved to the point where Eli damn thought she was drunk, man. Because she's praying with her heart and her lips are moving. Right? Let's jump down to verse 19. Let's see what happens to her from her crying out to the Most High.
God, 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 19. And they rose up in the morning early, and worshipped before the Lord, and returned, and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her.
So
Wherefore,
the Lord remembered Hannah, right? He remembered Hannah. Read on. Go ahead. Let's read verse 20.
God, verse 20. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. And the
Right.
man,
So she conceived. The Lord gave her what she was asking for. He lightened her affliction. Due to what? Her crying out to the Most High. Right? Let's go to Judges chapter 6 and verse 6.
the book of Judges, chapter 6, and verse number 6. It reads, And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord because of the Midianites, that the Lord sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. And I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am the Lord your God. Fear not the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. And there came an angel of the Lord and sat under an oak, which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites.
Jump to 14.
Verse 14. And the Lord looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee?
Right. So what happened? It said in verse 6, and Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites. And the children of Israel cried unto the Most High. And it came to pass when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High because of the Midianites, the Lord sent a prophet. Right? Are we not impoverished? Are we not oppressed? Are we not living in the ghettos and the slums right now? So we should be crying out to the Most High the same way, man. Right? That the Lord may send his son to come and get us up out of here, man. We should all be continuously crying out to the Most High daily. Hey, until it get on the Most High's nerves, man. He said, man, I gotta get them up out of here, man. They crying every day. Every day. For your own afflictions and for the afflictions of your people, man. Continuous. Let's go to 2 Samuel 22 and verse 6.
In the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22, and verse number 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried to my God. And he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook, because he was wroth.
Hey,
There was
this is not. There's no account of this happening with David. This is David singing. This is a song. This is Psalms 18, right? This is a prophecy. This is what's gonna happen, right? When we continue to what? Cry out to the Most High. The earth is gonna shake, right? And he's gonna send his angels and Yahweh Shai to come get us up out of here, right? So we gotta understand that. We gotta look at these. We gotta look at these accounts. When did this happen with King David on the earth? It didn't. Right now, he may be back on the earth when it does happen, but nonetheless, this is prophetic, letting you know that we should be continuously crying out to the Most High daily. Right? Let's go to Job chapter 5 and verse 11.
This is the book of Job, chapter 5, and verse number 11. To set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety.
Read that again.
To set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety.
That those that mourn may be exalted to safety. So you got to be mourning in this thing. You got to be crying out to the Most High in this thing. It's not about how many precepts you know. It's not about the breakdown you got. It's not about how many followers you have. It's not about your lot. It's about your spirit of sincerity. And a spirit of sincerity would understand that, one, your people are going through hell. That, two, hey, the Most High God is for you. And why are we so low? Why am I so low? Hey, I got to cry. I got to mourn in my estate. That's why the Lord says what? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse number 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart.
Right. It is better to go to the house of mourning than the house of feasting. Read on.
Verse 3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better.
So even in crying out to the Most High and being sad, your heart is made better. Your understanding is made better. Right? When you just in mirth and in happiness all the time, you never thinking correction. You never thinking, hey, what did I do? How did I go off? How could I be better? Right? But when you in mourning, you in weeping, and you in heaviness, right? You thinking correction. You thinking be better. You thinking, what did I do? Damn, I must have went off. Why am I going through so much hell lately? Right? And you trying to correct yourself. Right? And you might not have did nothing. It may just be chastisement of the Lord, but it's gonna make you walk that line a lot thinner. A lot, you're gonna tightrope that line a lot better. I'm already going through hell. I can't afford to mess up. Right? It makes your heart better. On top of the Lord has more respect unto it. Give me Psalms 34 and verse 6.
The book of Psalms, chapter 34, and verse number 6. All right. Psalm 34 and 6. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and
It
saved
says
him
the poor man cried and the Lord heard him. Read on.
out of all his troubles.
And saved him out of all his troubles. Read on. It's more.
Verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear the Lord, yea, his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What is he that desireth life and loveth many days, that he may see good? Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile.
Right. Just jump to verse 17.
Verse 17. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit.
That's plain. Right. It says the righteous cry and the Lord heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit, man. This is it's all throughout the precepts, it's all throughout the scriptures that is a vital thing to be crying to the most high God. It is a vital thing to have a broken spirit, right? Let's go to Isaiah 38, right, in verse number 1.
Isaiah chapter 38 and verse number 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord, and said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying, Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years. Verse 6. And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and will defend this city.
Right. So it said what? Hezekiah cried to the most high God. And the Lord said, Hey, man, I've seen his cry, I've heard his cry and I've seen his tears. So I'm gonna add 15 years unto his life, right? Because of him crying out to me. I'm gonna add 15 more years into his life. And I'm gonna save this city from Assyria, man. Right? It's constantly showing you the importance of crying out to the most high. Right? Constantly showing you how this is something that's a necessity in this walk with the Lord. Right? It's not all, jolly joy and kisses and being mighty all the time, man. Sometimes you gotta literally be broken and cry out to the Lord, man, for yourself and for your people, man. Right? Let's go to 2 Kings 14 and 26.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 14, and verse 26. All right. And it reads, For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter, for there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel. And the Lord said not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash.
Right. Just because the Lord looked down and he seen the affliction, right? He saved us in that time. He said what? He's not going to what? Blot out the name of Israel. Because the name Israel means what? Prince of the power, Yasha Allah. So he ain't gonna blot that name out, right? And you got so you got prayers of people saying, hey, remember thy name that you've given us when they crying out to the Lord, right? Because he's gonna save us because of his name, not for no other reason. And you gotta, when you crying out to the Lord, that's something to always remember. Hey, remember thy name, Lord. Forgive us. Right, let's go to the classic in Psalms 55 and 16.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and verse number 16. It reads, "As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray, and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice.
Read that again.
Evening and morning and at noon will I pray, and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice." Verse 18. He had delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. God
Right.
shall hear.
He's telling you how he's gonna cry out, telling you gonna cry out continuously throughout the day, and then telling you what, that the Lord is delivering them. Right? These, we gotta examine these accounts with understanding, knowing that these accounts, right, is what we have to add to our what they call it repertoire, man. We gotta add these things to our daily walks in life, man. Right? Let's go to Psalms 45, Psalms 145 and 18.
The book of Psalms, chapter 145, and verse number 18. It reads, "The Lord is nigh unto all them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. The Lord preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. My mouth
Right.
shall."
It says literally the Lord is going to hear them, all that cry, all that call upon him. Right? He's going to hear and save them. Right? Hey, this may not be a popular class, man. Right? It's not the in-depth breakdown. It's not us getting on TD Jakes. It's not us going into, getting on one of these channels where they going the hell off, right? But this is a necessity class, man, because there's not many people in Israel teaching Israel that they need to cry out to the Most High. They need to call on the Most High in the time of trouble. That they need to cry out to the Most High to be delivered out of Babylon, man, to be delivered out of captivity. Cry out to the Most High that your people may be delivered out of this place, man. There's not a lot of these things, examine these things, and and implement these things, man, unto the Most High, man. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah 29 and verse 10.
God.
Jeremiah 29 and 10.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, and verse number 10. It reads, "For thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord. And I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord. And I will bring you again unto the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive.
Right. So the Lord said, what? Then shall ye call upon me and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, man. So what? You got to call upon the Lord and pray unto him with contrition, with a broken spirit, hey, with tears, man, crying, man. Then he's going to redeem us out of this thing, man. Right? Let's go to Psalms 86, and let's start at verse 3.
The book of Psalms, chapter 86, and verse number 3. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the
Hold on,
soul
read
of...
that again. He said, do what? I do what?
It says, be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily.
I cry unto thee daily. Daily. How many brothers and sisters can say they cry unto the Most High daily? I can't say that. Right? Hey, some people will say you a wimp. Hey, tighten up. Hey, you supposed to be out there shaking the hand, telling Israel they gonna die. Right? Which there's a balance. You do got to do that. But we see and we understand that your might ain't gonna save you. You're not gonna die. We're not gonna be delivered by no man's might. We're gonna be delivered by the mercy and the grace of the Most High. Ultimately, when you go before a judge, let's say you do a crime, which we've all committed a crime before the Most High. Let's say you do a crime and you asking the judge for mercy. We've seen the videos of these kids before they get life. What are they doing? They crying to the judge, asking the court for what? Mercy. We asking Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua for mercy. So how do we ask for mercy? By crying out to the Most High, by showing contrition to the Most High, by calling on the Most High, man. So that's the way that we got to ask for mercy. His mercy is what's going to literally get us out of here, man. Right, go ahead, read on.
God. Verse number 4. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, Lord, art good, and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Give ear,
Mercy
O
unto
Lord.
all them that call upon me, right? He said, what? Ready to forgive and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Aren't we looking for mercy? Don't we need mercy to be delivered from the Most High? Right? So you got to call upon the Most High. But hey, Psalms 51 and 16. How do you call upon the Most High? Can you just call on the Most High and say, what's up, Geo Double Dizzle? How you doing? You know? Yeah. Hey, it would help if you kind of bring a brother out of this situation that I'm in right now. Right? I'm kind of, I'm dealing with it, kind of talking to the Lord like that. It's a cat on my Facebook. He be talking about my daddy, talking about the Most High. Bugged out Christian. Yeah, my daddy. Yeah, told my daddy. No, brother. What are you doing? Read that Psalm 51, King.
In verse 16.
Yeah, come.
Psalm chapter 51 and verse 16. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. Oh
That's,
God,
go ahead, finish it off. Salaki.
God, oh God, thou will not despise.
You see that? That's what if you're going to call upon the Lord for mercy, it got to be with a broken and contrite spirit. So you crying. Back in the day when you was a kid, hey, mute your thing, Baba Kushak King. Back in the day when you was a kid, and you kind of got in trouble at school. I know me. I'll talk about myself. I can't talk about nobody else. I know when I was a kid and I got in trouble at school, and they used to bring me in the principal's office, and then they would like, I wouldn't be scared of nothing they could do to me at school. Hey, put me in school for suspension. Hey, suspend me, detention. I don't give a damn about none of that. That's who I was. Suspend, whatever. I didn't care. But then they'll say, I'm about to call your mama. And they call my mama, and I get on the phone. My mama say, put him on the phone. And I get on the phone. My mom would say, she would say one phrase and then and tell me to hand the phone back to the principal. I get on the phone, hello, your ass is mine. Get the phone back to the principal. Get the phone back to the principal. Get home. And what am I doing? I'm coming to my mom humbly, like, Mom, I'm sorry, Mom. You lowly. You bringing yourself low. You hoping your mama ain't gonna bring that judgment on you, man. You hoping she not gonna damn smite you, you know what I'm saying, with the rod. Right? It's still, hey, it happened anyway. But that's how you come before somebody when they have the power to harm you or the power to deliver you. Well, the Most High has the power to take your spirit away, the power to bring you to the third heaven by a whirlwind like he did Elijah, and the power to deliver your whole nation out of captivity. So how much mercy should you be coming to him with when you're crying out to him and when you're asking him for things, man? How hard? That's not a hard thing to understand. But hey, Jake too cool. Jake got to be mighty. Jake got to be, he got to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Well, that guy gonna die. That guy not gonna make it. Don't listen to these Israelites that they talk about always being mighty, right? Talk about making it, oh, well, we're gonna do this. We're gonna be a living sacrifice. Hey, look, man. Understand this. Yahweh was a perfect sacrifice. Was he mighty or was he a lamb? Because lambs ain't mighty. Nobody ever examines that. Right? It's all about just being this tough guy. If I just need to be a tough guy, I can just stay in the world and gangbang, man. You need to be a humble guy, a meek guy, a loving guy. Right? It don't matter how many precepts you have not the fruits of the spirit, you ain't gonna make it. Real quick, let's get Matthew 5 and let's start at verse 3.
God, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse number 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Blessed are they that mourn. So if you out here alive in Israel, that spirit is out there right now, man. You ain't mourning. So how you going to receive comfort when you don't need it? They tell you in the world when you got a baby, let sleeping babies lie. Meaning what? Baby ain't crying. It's not acting crazy. Hey, leave them alone. Let it lie. It's the mourn, for they shall be comforted. If you're comfortable here, if you're good here, then what you need to be comforted by Yahweh Shai for? It's not going to be let sleeping babies lie in that day. It's going to be let sleeping babies die in that day. So you better start mourning. You better start crying out to the Lord. Right? Read one more verse on that.
God, verse number 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And the lamb is the most meekest creature on the earth. So to be a living sacrifice for the Most High God, your spirit got to be meek. Your spirit got to have humility. That's what you got to have. So don't follow these jakes that's out here trying to make it seem like you got to be the mightiest guy in the world to actually see the kingdom. That's not what the Lord looking for. Moses was the most meek man on the earth. And the Lord chose him to be a savior over Israel, man. Oh, let's get that account. Go to Numbers 12 and verse 2.
God, that's the book of Numbers, chapter 12, and verse number 2. And it reads, and they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Right. He was very meek above all men upon the face of the earth. And he was chosen to be a savior. Right. And the point, hey, on top of that, hey, the Lord defended Moses when they was talking behind his back, man. They have turned his sister to a leprous person, man. And then even after Moses cried out to her, he was so inflamed with her for what she said about Moses that he said had her father spit in her damn face, man. Shall she not be ashamed? She should be ashamed to speak against my servant this way, the meek man that I chose to deliver you. So your spirit got to be meek, man, and crying out to the Most High is part of humility. It's part of humbling yourself for the Lord. That's why it's so vital. Go to Jeremiah 33 and verse 3.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, and verse number 3. It reads, "Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and shew thee great and mighty things, which thou
Call
knowest
unto
not."
me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things. So the Lord is the one that's mighty. He's the one that's going to do the mighty things. And it's going to come from what? Calling on him, man. Not by your own hand. Not by how many. Hey, some of these jakes, they think sitting at home all day and studying all the precepts. You know, they got the cue cards, right? They got the index cards. They got all the precepts on the index cards, right? They got the Bible, right? They sitting at home, they studying all day, and they still haven't understand the simplest thing about humility and meekness and crying out to the Most High, that He's the strength, not you. You got to know these things, right? Let's go to Psalms 116, and let me see where we want to start. Nine. No, 10. 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 116, to verse 10. "I believed, therefore I have spoken. I was greatly afflicted. I said in my haste, all men are liars. What shall I render unto the Lord for all his benefits toward me? I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all his people.
I will pay my vow unto the Lord now in the presence of all his people." Read on.
Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints.
Read.
O Lord, truly I am thy servant. I am thy servant and the son of thine handmaid. Thou hast loosed my bonds. I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving and will call upon the name of the Lord.
That's a sacrifice. Calling upon the name of the Lord is a sacrifice, right? And the Lord loves his sacrifices, man. You see that? So think about that. You sacrifice to the Lord every time you cry out and call on his name, man. You making a righteous sacrifice. The Lord said, "Thou shalt not appear before me empty," man. That's Sirach, the 35th chapter and the 4th verse, right? Let's go to the book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 14.
God, the book of Philippians, chapter 3, and verse number 14. And it reads, "I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Hamashiach Yahushai. Let us therefore, as many as be perfect, be thus minded. And if anything ye be otherwise minded, God shall reveal even this unto you. Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as they have us for an example. For many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are the enemies of the cross of Hamashiach, whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. For our conversation is in heaven, and from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushai Hamashiach."
See that? Our conversation is in heaven, right? Where we look for the saving from our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? Calling on the name of the Lord, right? Let me see something. Go to 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 9, King. Let me see something.
Con, the book of Second Corinthians, chapter 12, and verse number 9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, and distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong.
From when I am weak, then I am my strong. Right? So I said the Lord's strength is made perfect in weakness. So you have to make yourself low. You have to be okay with crying. You have to be okay with ultimately submitting yourself completely to the Most High. In your weakness is when the Lord's strength is perfected. When you think you're weak, that's when you're actually made strong through the Spirit and power of the Most High. So you abase yourself for the Lord, for His strength to be shown in you, and then He brings deliverance before everyone's face to see, man. Right, go ahead, finish that off, King.
Con. It reads, verse 11, I am become a fool in glorying, yea, have compelled me, for I ought to have been commended of you. For in nothing am I behind the very chiefest apostles, though I be nothing.
You see,
Truly,
Paul's understanding was he was nothing, abasing himself, man. Right, let's go to Job chapter 7 and verse 11.
the book of Job, chapter 7, and verse number 11. And it reads, therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. I am
Right,
as a sea.
right. He said, therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul, man. And Job friends was kind of getting on him for complaining. Like Jake be trying to do. Man, you got it, bro. Buck up, man. You know, you got it, bro. You strong, King. You a mighty brother, man. No. Job said, no, I'm going to speak the anguish that's in my soul. I'm gonna complain that which is in my spirit. That's what you got to do. Was Job not righteous? It was his friends that was told that their words weren't right for what they spoke unto Job. But he spoke right. So Job is speaking right when he tells you that, man. When he says that, man. Speak the anguish in your spirit. Speak the complaining that's on your soul, man. Right? Let me look at this. Right. Read verse 9, chapter 9 and verse 27.
Job chapter 9 and verse number 27. It reads, if I say I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself.
Right. If you don't complain to the Most High, you're going to leave your heaviness and comfort yourself. The Lord is your comforter. You have no business trying to comfort yourself, man. None. The Lord is your comforter. Right? Let's get this. We'll close out with this. Let's get Psalms 130 and let's read verse 1 and 2. Matter of fact, we're gonna read the whole thing. Psalms 130 all the way down to 8.
Come. The book of Psalms chapter 130 from the top. Out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Yahweh. Lord, hear my voice. Let thine ears be attentive to the voice of my supplications. If thou, Lord, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand? But there is forgiveness with thee, that thou mayest be feared. I wait for the Lord, my soul doeth wait, and in his word do I hope. My soul waiteth for the Lord more than they that watch for the morning. I say, more than they that watch for the morning. Let Israel hope in the Lord. For with the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption. And he shall redeem Israel from all his iniquities.
That's plain, man. So call on the Lord because mercy is with him and redemption is with him, right? Individually and collectively, man. Right? And to answer your question, Harry Barnes, right? You said what month is the new year and the first new moon? That would be March. right? That'll be March. The new moon in March will be the first new moon of the year, right? So, Lord willing, somebody was edified or will be edified in the coming days. Love you, Israel. Ashar Shabbat. Shalom.
Shalom.